It is a little past 6 a.m. this morning at the fort. With the low light, our hips and hinds are keen to take advantage of the reduced visibility before it wanes. Over the next 30 minutes, it will become daylight, and the odds of a successful sortie will drop. I plan on flying with Hip 87, who will be raiding some marked infrastructure. I've got some standard troops to drop for some enemy units that may be in the area. And while I get started up here, Hip 86 is on their way to the same target area. As he departs the FARP, let's look at a pack of sabers departing Maycop, and we'll see later on. While those sabers head onwards to the front, we're all set at the FARP to do the same. Our journey to the target area will be 40 kilometers. At about 250 kilometers per hour for cruise, we should be there in roughly 10 minutes. Fortunately, this is a target area that I've once raided in the past, and so has Hip 87, so we're aware of the possible threat vectors. For the ingress, I know there's a hillside that runs down from our sector into the valley that the city which we are raiding sits in. The city is small and flanked by some hills on either side which allow us to get very close and avoid enemy fire. In the past I've encountered enemy troop formations on the western hills that surround this town, so we'll be on the lookout for that when we roll in. As we head out, further southwest of us, enemy air-to-ground units are rolling in on our friendly troop formations along the coast near Guadada. One unit appears to be particularly difficult. Having left before us, Hip 86 has now made it right outside of the target area west of our FARP. Sadly, this attempted SOF troop drop is outside the 2-kilometer limit for the infrastructure target range. This seemingly benign miscalculation will set off a series of events that will ultimately draw the pack of Sabres to us. After their first MiG-21 kill, the Sabre pack is now lurking around our home sector and takes on another MiG-21 who was offering to run cap over our front lines. They are merely a few kilometers beyond the hills behind Hip 86. Unknown to us at the time, the MiG-21 held off the Sabres just long enough for us to pass through. We pick up the ridgeline and almost on time at 10 minutes, we're using it to jump from our sector directly into the target area. What I love about this approach into this area in particular is the ability to gain a lot of speed running downhill directly onto the target. At almost the exact same time, HIP 87 and I touched down in different locations near the target building. Not far from us, HIP 86 has moved closer and has also begun dropping troops. Because they happen after our drops, they unfortunately won't kill any targets. When there is no recon done, it is good to have a few drops spread out over a few kilometers to see if you can catch any extra enemy counts, but it sometimes just doesn't work out. By now, the original out-of-range group is ready for pickup, and HIP 86 will head over for the expo. After HIP 86 falls victim to VRS, the first group of troops continue to flare for recovery. Luckily, the Sabres were outbound from our target area, so we remained unharassed as my assault timer elapses and I pick up my own troops. Just south of the village was a group of tanks that is now destroyed. By now we are aware there are Sabres in the area from reports by other units on the radio and in chat, but we've been lucky enough to avoid them. At the most opportune moment, they turn away and head towards the sector to the north, briefly to patrol, taking us out of harm's way. When I lift off, after the troop pickup, I begin to see the flares from HIP 86's drops, and I'm initially confused as to who they belong to because I don't see any other HIP operating those. By now, though, the Sabres have spotted the flares from miles away and are homing in on them to investigate. We still have 4 minutes to go for the assault raid timer to elapse. The Sabres unfortunately get hip 87. I instinctively drive directly into the sun at low altitude when that happens. Luckily, this is the ideal heading also to get back to the FAR. After initially throwing off the Sabres, they persist in their search, though eventually I come across a Hind who takes ATGM shots at the Sabres, while the MiG-21 flying cap for the sector returns. Once again, the MiG-21 fends off the Sabres, and it allows me the cover I need to race back towards the FARP and get further into friendly territory. It's not long before it's time for us to land back at home.